following program is sponsored by Michael W. Smith. The views expressed on the following program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership.
Arizona, America, Phoenix. This is Brother Mike. I'm back on the radio. Welcome to HardcoreChristianity.com. Today's Bible study. Fridays are Filthy Friday on HardcoreChristianity.com. Today's study, Pastoral Adultery. Normally I ask you to give somebody a call, but on Filthy Fridays I don't. This is just in-house for the family. I'll make a couple of quick announcements and then I'll get right to the Bible study. It's happened again, folks. This is Brother Mike. I'm the professional counselor at the Arizona Deliverance Center. I have been a professional counselor for 38 years here in the Valley. On the website hardcorechristianity.com is a list of all of our ministry services. We do provide free counseling services for the poor. We do provide counseling for born-again Christians at no charge. We also have 2 live services every week, Thursday and Friday nights at 7 o'clock. We have preaching, teaching, healing, and deliverance at both services. And both services are broadcast live on our YouTube teaching channel, youtube.com/House of Healing AZ. I'm on every night of the week on internet radio, darkskyradio.com at 9 p.m. And we welcome all of our new listeners on the internet. Love having you. Of course, love having our KXXT Christian radio listeners. Thank you guys for helping me in the last 18 years I've been on the radio. You have been by my side. Thank you for your donations and your prayers. Sister Karen's on the homepage of the website to list your house for sale for you. And she loves working with born-again Christians in particular. Thank you for all the referrals you have sent her. Our services are live every week. We never closed down during the COVID-19 hoax. We never changed any of our counseling appointments. I never changed literally one thing through the entire thing. We were the only church that was open for months in the state of Arizona. It was absolutely amazing. Everybody was shut down except us. But God protected us the whole time we were open, and we're back to killing it. Pastoral adultery. Here we go again, folks. A Lifeway survey. A Lifeway survey. They contacted 1,000 ministers in this phone survey. They didn't do it in person, of course. And here's what happened. Here's the article. It says, quote, when Protestant pastors were asked how long, if at all, a pastor who commits adultery should withdraw from public ministry, 27% said the pastor should leave permanently. 16% said for a year. 2% said they don't even need to step down at all. 31% said they weren't sure. They weren't sure. Now, most ministers were kind of surprised at those numbers. I wasn't surprised, but most ministers were. Because they couldn't believe that, the pastor wasn't removed permanently. When you become a pastor, you take an oath in a way, and you take an oath that you have to be trusted by your people and by God. And when you violate that trust, you need to be farmed out quick. And I've done many radio shows on these pastors that fall, ministers that fall, mega church pastors that fall. And by the way, many of them have been in to see me for counseling. And this whole problem, the root of it is removing deliverance from the church. 75 years ago, deliverance in America was, fairly reasonably available. But over the years, it got removed. And in the last 10 years, it has had a resurgence. We're one of the largest deliverance ministries in the entire country. But most of the current deliverance ministries are unbiblical, and they cause more problem than they do good, because they're not a repentance-based ministry. But you can see now the results of 75 years of throwing deliverance out of the church. You have all these pastors and ministers, associate pastors, youth pastors, that enter the ministry not knowing they have demons. And since they never went through deliverance, they had lust demons, and so they get into the ministry later, and then after a while, these demons manifest, and they have an affair with somebody, or they come out of the closet, or, as you can see, I've had numerous radio programs here lately about famous ministers, music ministers, mega church pastors who have renounced their faith and come out of the closet with hidden homosexuality desires, or they've been serial adulterers. This is starting to become a very common problem. But here's why it's common. These ministers go to Bible college, they go to seminary, and it's the same thing with the Catholic priests. They all go through the priesthood, and inside the priesthood there is a subset system of homosexual priests. They all meet each other, they all know each other, and that subgroup, they all stick together in the priesthood, and when they go through seminary, they come out. They start molesting third-grade boys, or the priests who are heterosexual adulterers, they start impregnating nuns. What's the root problem? Well, it's clear. They don't have deliverance in the priesthood, and they don't have it at Bible college or at seminaries for Protestants. And because of that, people enter into training. They go to school, they go to Bible training, they go to pastoral training, they take counseling courses and so on. But they never went through deliverance, so they carry their demons from their sinful life into their Christian life, and then subsequently carry those demons into training and schooling, and when they graduate, they're ready to go into the ministry, but the people don't know, the churches don't know, the schools don't know that that person is infected with lust demons. And so they manifest later, and they cause a big scandal, and everybody's embarrassed and everybody's hurt. Why? Because deliverance was thrown out of the church and is not required to go into the ministry. You don't have to be delivered from the demons you acquired during your sinful life when you go into ministerial training or into the priesthood. You just take your demons right on in. They roll in the door with you. And here's how it works. 1 Corinthians chapter 9. Paul said, quote, I keep my body and I bring it into subjection. Now this Greek word, I keep my body under, I keep under my body. It's the King James Version. Hupopiazo. Hupopiazo means that I beat my body down. I beat it down. And I bring it into subjection. Greek word, doulegogeo. Doulegogeo means slave driver. He says, I beat my body, physically beat it, and I become a slave driver and treat my body like a slave. So that by any means, he said, when I have preached to others, I myself should become a castaway. Greek word adokamos. Adokamos means a reprobate. Paul was telling you that there was a chance for a born-again Christian, a spirit-filled Christian, if they don't take care of themselves, they could end up a reprobate. And that's what Paul didn't want to do. That's what Paul didn't want to do. It's amazing. God's telling you that you need to go through deliverance before you go into the ministry. You shouldn't even be in Bible college if you haven't. Here's why. 1 Corinthians chapter 6. Paul said, do you not know that your bodies are members of Christ? The Greek word for bodies there is melos. It means body parts. Shall I take the members of Christ, the body part of Christ, and make them the members of a harlot? That's the Greek word porne. It means a promiscuous woman. Shall I take my body parts and make them a member of the body parts of a promiscuous woman? God forbid. What? Don't you know that he which is joined to a promiscuous woman is one body? For two, he says, shall be one. What's he saying there? During intercourse, a man and a woman become one body. Paul says, quote, he that is joined to the Lord is one spirit. So flee fornication, he says. Every sin that a man does is outside the body. But he that commits fornication sins against his own body. The Greek word for against there is eis. It means into. You sin into your own body. That means you can pick up a spirit from the person you're fornicating with, and it will transfer into your own body. These lust demons transfer into people's bodies during fornication, adultery, whatever sin you're talking about. That's covered under fornication. The Greek word is porneia. These spirits transfer in your body, and then they manifest later after you get out of Bible college, or during Bible college, you have an affair, or you get out and you commit adultery while you're pastoring a church. And that's exactly what happened to this poor guy. All these guys in these surveys, they all said that the pastor who commits adultery should withdraw from public ministry. Only 27% said that the person should do it. Why? Because they've got demons and they don't want to get caught committing adultery and be thrown out of the pastorship permanently because they don't have any other way to earn a living. Friends, if you picked up a transfer spirit and something got into your body that can be removed through deliverance and the power of God, 602-636-5800. Don't wait for your church to fire you. Come get healed first.
The views expressed on this program are those of the host and not necessarily those of staff, management, or ownership. This program was sponsored by Michael W. Smith.